Hi everyone! We have about 13 people waiting right now. I think
Okay, great.
our audience is trickling slowly. We'll give it a couple of more minutes before we start the stream officially, but thank you all for joining so much. We're super excited for this session with Laretta, and we also have Polly here from Black Women Photographers, so it's going to be a fun one.
I'm excited.
If you are in the chat, share where you're tuning in from, because I'm always curious to see where our audience is joining from. There's a lot of people saying that they're first in the chat. There's like 3 or 4 of them. Ooh, someone's tuning in from Detroit.
Nice.
Charlotte, Atlanta, another Atlanta, a lot of Atlanta. Philippines, Maryland,
Oh, there we go.
Philly,
¿Cómo está?
Baltimore, Toronto. Nice. Some more Baltimore folks. Awesome. Okay, well, I think we can get started. Again, thank you all for joining. I'm Debria from Lexar. I'm the Senior Marketing Specialist. I focus primarily on our external social media as well as our influencer partnerships. I'm joined here today by Polly from Black Women Photographers as well as Laretta Houston, who is a Lexar Elite Team Member. Today, we're going to be bringing you a workshop on post-production process, specifically related to fashion and editorial photography, which is Loretta's mastery. And we're super excited to learn from Laretta. I'd like to pass the mic over to Polly to introduce herself.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. As Debria mentioned, I'm Polly. I'm the founder of Black Women Photographers. It's a global community organization that I started of July 2020. We provide free workshops, portfolio reviews, summits, photo walks, you name it, we probably do it. In addition to that, we also have an annual grant fund of 70,000 annually with different partners where we give back, funding to Black and African creatives to fund their projects or business expenses. In addition to that, we also provide free equipment with our partnership with Nikon. And I'm really excited about today's conversation. Well, actually, not even a conversation, it's a master class workshop with Loretta, and I too will be taking down some notes to learn how to master my workflow. With that said, I will pass it to Loretta.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to this webinar. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what my workflow looks like and take what you can. If you already have a workflow already set, maybe there's something in there that you may take home and kind of, add it to your workflow. Or if you're new to workflow, this is something you can copy or steal for yourself. So, do we just get started here?
Yeah, let's go ahead and dive in. As you pull up your presentation, Loretta, I'm going to be turning off my camera and mic, and I'll be chiming in the live chat. If anyone has questions for Loretta throughout her presentation, please feel free to type them into the chat, and we'll collect them and do a Q&A session towards the end.
Great. Also, let's see here. Oh, I lost my place. Hold on 1 second, everyone. Okay, here we go. So I'm pulling up my presentation, and I will go ahead and share my screen here. Let's see here. Okay, so here is my screen. So we will start with the full presentation today, right now. Okay, so today I will be explaining my workflow regarding my photography workflow with fashion and advertising commercial work. I am a Lexar Elite, and I just want to also thank Black Women Photographers and Lexar for making this happen. So My name is Laretta Houston. I'm a photographer and a director. I am based in Los Angeles. I specialize in advertising, commercial, and fashion. I've been in the industry over 20 years, and my job is part art and creative, and the other part, equal part, is the basically logistics and business. I am a Lexar Elite. I'm also a Can Explorer of Light. So I want to go ahead and showcase some of my favorite work. I will bring in my Instagram here. I've always told photographers that your portfolio website is your main portfolio. And anything on social media, such as Instagram, is just an extension of your work and kind of more of like your creative freedom to create whatever you want that won't be in the main portfolio. But it shows clients or people that want to hire you how you can be more creative and think on your own if you get creative freedom from them. So here's some of my favorite work. So this is Val. I recently shot her. This was shot with a beauty dish. Also, this is great. I wanted to show clients that anybody can take this picture right here and make it an ad, meaning they can slap a perfume here and have it be a perfume ad. They can also, this can also represent makeup or wardrobe. So I wanted to show clients that it's possible to hire me to do your advertising commercial shoots and get this type of level of photography. Also, for those who don't know, I shot Tyra for Sports City 2019. I'm sure a lot of people saw this cover. I was the first Black woman, to shoot for Sports Illustrated swimsuits since the beginning. And yeah, and Tyra actually found me on Instagram. So what I'm saying is that Instagram is a great extension of your work, and you don't know who's going to watch you, who's going to hire you. And this was my yes. You know, every photographer always asks, what's my yes, my yes? Well, this is my yes, and it actually changed the trajectory of my career. And then, so you can see the extension of my work from, you know, shooting outside to have the nostalgic type of feel with hard contrasts of shadows to being creative with, you know, wardrobe and stylizing. Also, here's another picture of Tyra that I shot. This was in the Caribbean. And so there's quite a few of my accomplishments here. I was recently in the LA Times. They did a interview with me and went ahead and did a feature on me in their Times Magazine newspaper. And so you just kind of see like some of the things that I shoot that's very creative, very clean. And I try to stick in the middle because if you're clean, if you shoot clean, you're able to get companies who can see that you can shoot clean, but you have a sense of creativity too as well. This is one of my also beautiful beauty shot. This was shot with a softbox. And then this is a campaign I shot for Canon itself. This is for their IR 24mm VCM lens. So you can kind of see like the extension of the kind of work that I do. Anything from fashion, editorial. I also, you know, have shot recently for Canon EOS R1, their new camera that they launched last year. So we were invited to Palm Springs to shoot cars and bikes and dirt. And I had an amazing time during this retreat. So yeah. And then of course, I shoot other things like swimsuits, fashion editorials, you can see here. I also had my first billboard in 2023, or was it 2024? think it was 2020, I can't remember, but it's my first billboard I had in New York Times Square. That was a big accomplishment for me, just because I've always wanted to have the opportunity to go to New York and look up and see my own work in New York Times Square. So that is a big accomplishment for me. I also do very creative work on my own. I love fashion. I like it to be a little bit more creative and push the direction and level of creativity to another, basically another level. I also shoot actors as well. He was in The Peacemaker, so he's a celebrity. And then, of course, you can kind of see the other type of work I hear. This is one that I created myself, which I stylized. I did the makeup and I did the hair and the photography. So I do it all if I need to. Sometimes we may not have a team that's available for us to work with. So sometimes we have to do it ourselves. So I didn't mind doing this. And this was shot in my living room with a gel. And so, yeah, I just kind of see, this is one of my sets, my commercial sets. Is very, a lot of lights going on. We also have, sometimes I'll have a digital tech on site. So you just kind of see the level of what my shoots look like. Here is some of my other work here, shot with natural light. And yeah, this was shooting for Princess Cruise Lines in conjunction with Smize Cream, Tyra Smize Cream. So we were on a boat to Mexico and back, and we shot all the advertising that was for Smize Cream on the Princess Cruise Line. So you just kind of see the gist of my work. Here is another set here. I usually hire about 2 assistants. And then, of course, we have all these big, gigantic light. This is for an advertising, and it was sold in Ulta Beauty. So you see the tether here, the big lights, the monitor here, and all that good stuff. So I just wanted to kind of come in here and show a little bit of my work. Also, I will go ahead and share a little bit of my website as well. So this is my main portfolio. And as you can see, I did a lot of shots with Tyra Banks, Karen Millen. I've also shot for Dancing with the Stars, which that was also a pivotal moment for me on shooting for TV. So of course you see Neve, and these are some of the images I've shot for Kenning as one of their campaigns as well. So I have POS, which is the point of sale. This is usually on the, cash registers you may not see, where, they'll show in front of the cash register, we accept, cash, Visa, or Discover. So you just kind of see everything. I've shot for MAC Cosmetics as well. So, and I love shooting beauty and the details of it. So these are just a quick, I'll just skim through these real quick, and then we'll start the workflow here. This is some of my lifestyle and commercial shots I've photographed. So you just kind of see the vibe is a little bit different. It's more relatable. Everybody's happy. When you look at the picture, you want to be her. You want to be, in that environment. So I usually have this my commercial work, some of my commercial work here. And then, of course, I have the swimwear that I'm known for from Sportswear Swimsuit, and that is loading. And yeah, you can kind of see it here. One of my favorites is also shooting Winnie Harlow. She is just a beautiful canvas. So you can just see the extensions of all my work here. And then, yeah, so that is my portfolio and some of my favorites on Instagram. So we'll go ahead and continue with the presentation here. So my theory, or how I flow, is, and hopefully you can take away from this, is what I'm teaching is how to protect your images, protect the pixels, ingest and back up your pictures, cull and rate with Capture One, and deliver like a brand. And I'll be teaching that today. So some of the problem solutions I have for this, if you feel very overwhelmed, create a tree folder for your clients, so therefore that you know where the folders are, where the pictures are, and basically creating it like a story. If someone to open it up, they know where everything is and how it's done. You may have slow decisions in trying to figure out what pictures will look right, what doesn't. And so you want to be able to have a star rating on this, which I'll show you via Capture One. And then if you're inconsistent with your delivery, you want to use templates of emails. So therefore, you don't waste time trying to write out emails when you just copy the email and then send it to the client as a from the template. So for the card IDs and retirement policy, I usually label or card ID my SD card and CF Express cards from Lexar, and each one of them has a name. So I use Lexar 01, Lexar 02, and so on, so I know I can track where the images are. I also have a swap rule, which means that you rotate at 80 and 90% full of your memory card. So do not wait. And believe me, I went through this and I've actually lost images several times before learning the lesson, is that you never want to fill up your memory card to 100%, because that may cause some silent errors and you may lose that whole card of images. So you want to make sure you only rotate at 80, 90% full. And then anytime you get a memory card, you want to be able to retire any single error. So if any error comes up, don't even try to fix it, just retire it, bring it to the grave and bury it, okay? And then get you a new card. So for camera slot offloading, so right now, yeah, I'm showing you that I have a 2-card slot on the R5, Canon R5 Mark II. So my thing is, if you have a 1-card slot camera, you want to make sure you offload that periodically. So don't put 1 terabyte memory card in there and work through the whole day with that 1 memory card. You want to be able to offload those cameras, those images into maybe a 30 gigabyte card or less. So therefore, if something happens, you're not losing, you don't have a copy, so you don't have a second slot. So you want to make sure you protect those images, and so you keep swapping memory cards and just make sure that you get a 32 gigabyte or less on a 1-card slot camera. I also have an empty versus full memory card. So basically, any empty cards that I put in, you know, I have like a memory card, like a little memory card zip up where I actually put all my memory cards in CF Express. In that, I usually know what's empty and full. So if it is an empty card, the label's up. And if it's full memory card, the label is down. So that's kind of how I feel, you know, instead of trying to go through each memory card and trying to figure out if there's any images in, it's already done for you. I do not do in-camera deletes. The only reason for this is that I made so many mistakes by that, and I've lost so many images because I deleted the wrong images. So you want to be able to just shoot ongoing, don't even think about what you did wrong in the memory card, and then delete it after you've backed it up several times. And then I also am guilty for this as well in my past, where I used to adjust whatever I wanted, such as exposure, you know, lighting, contrast, all that good stuff in card. And then I've lost certain images that are related to the ones I've retouched. So, you know, just don't do it. Just make sure you have a backup first. So what I use here is to transfer files. I usually have a 1 terabyte CF Express card, and then I will usually use a 1 terabyte SD card. I also have a Lexar CF Express card reader because I usually use this a lot more than the SDs. And then I also have the Lexar SSD, so you'll find all the information here. And if you have any more information or any questions regarding this, you can answer it at the end with questions and answers. So here's my ingest flow. So if I'm using a regular SD card, it will start with offloading it into a laptop and then backing it up with a portable temporary SSD. And then when I get back to the office, I will also offload it on my computer or hard drive or both. So if I do work with the C Express, then in between here, I will have a card reader that will basically offload the images to laptop. So I will have one memory card. I have a 2-slot camera. So I have one extra card that's going to be my backup already. I'll have a backup on my laptop. I will also have a backup on my temporary SSD, and then I'll also have a backup on my computer desktop. So I will be safe if I lose any of the images either way. So here is my 3-2-1 backup, which is basically you want to have 2 external drives and one cloud offsite. So usually I copy the folders into 2 HDD drives, or some people may have NAS, but I just use 2 external backup drives. One I work from and one I back up. Or if I have something in my computer that I'm working on my desktop, I use Blackblaze to copy my desktop, and I use Dropbox as another cloud extension of copying. So, you know, 2 stars, you know, your house might be on fire, there might be a flood, and something happens to your external drives, you always will have another copy on a cloud that you can download it. So here are some couple of companies that have online clouds. Dropbox is my number one. This is what I use. There's also iCloud. You have Google Drive, and then Blackblaze, which I use as well. I use Blackblaze just for my desktop specifically that can quickly save the images, and then I back up the Dropbox at least once a day. So I want to be able to show you my cloud here. So let's see. So this is basically the, let's see here. Okay, so here is my client tree folder. I usually name the folder with whoever the client is or model if you're doing any tests or headshots. I also label it with a year, month, and date. And if there's any collection, say it's a company that you're doing a lookbook for 2025, I'll put that collection 2025. So just in case I have several of those folders up with the same client, there is a distinction between each one of them. Now, if you're shooting just a model, I just wouldn't put the last part of it, the underscore collection. I'll just do the model's name, last name, year, month, and date. So here is my tree. It is set as if it's a story. Again, if someone opened up these folders, they know exactly where I left off. Or if I hand them the drive to finish it, they know exactly what's happening in the folders and what I've did so far. So I have these folders called admin. This is for the cards. These are for the memory cards. This is for sessions from where I call through Capture One. I have working edits here for folders, for the folder for PSDs and tips that I'm retouching or editing. And I also have finals where you'll see the print and web. And then over here is delivery. So let's go into the cards. So based on the IDs of the memory cards that I use, those same IDs will be created in a folder. So I know which ones have what pictures I've shot. Okay, so here's like 2 examples here. If I'm working on my drone, which is rarely, or if someone else is working on a drone on my shoot, they can offload those images into the drone folder. And then you'll have a still and you have the video. So they are separate. In here will be the raw cards or raw memory, raw pictures, along with any tether images will go into this session folder. And I primarily use Capture One because that's very standard in advertising and commercial world. And then we have the working edits, again, PSD and TIFFs. In the finals, we have the print and web, which is where you actually export them out for print and web. So you want to make sure you have that. And then for delivery, what's included in the zip is the print and web for the client. And usually it's just a README and license. So basically under README, you'll have the expiration, the download, the link, the expiration of it, and basically a tip for the client to know or how to unzip the file. It also has a archive and backup, just kind of letting the client know that you need to have 2 backups in separate locations. And if you want me to retrieve any images, there will be a retrieval fee that will be applied. So they already know in advance what that fee might be. And then just in case they use it in social media, we have the credits already here. No one's emailing back and forth like, what's your Instagram, what's your phone number, what's your agency. It's already put in the credits, so nobody has to think and no one has to call and email or text anybody. So that's included in the final zip folder. Now, if I'm shooting advertising and commercial, the clients usually have the model release already. But just in case if I have to do the model release, I always have that in the folder as well. So this is just an extension of my model release form here, basically telling them like how many hours they will shoot, how much they will get paid for one day, what images I will provide to them after it's been done, and then any restrictions or copyright is all there. And of course, I have in another one where if they're under 18, there is consent here from the parent. And usually I take a picture of their IDs or their driver's license, so make sure that they were there when they sign this. So I usually have them put it up to their face, their driver's license. I also make a copy and put it in their file. And then we also have a property release here. So just in case, sometimes we shoot on location, so we may need some property releases so that they can grant us to film or take stills at that location. Some are very, very hard on this and really want this done every time there's a shoot. So you want to be able to do that. So I will include that in the zip file. So, and then kind of just let you know in the admin, there's also a log. This is basically the project. So basically this is the story. So if anybody comes in, they know exactly what the job is, what the client or brand is, the shoot dates, the locations, the route path of your folder where the pictures are. You also have the team contacts, which is just the major players at the shoot, which are the agency and the producers, photographer, digital tech, lead assistant, and second assistant. Usually I leave out all talent and styling and all that good stuff, makeup artists, I just leave them out. And then the client will have maybe some exports they want out. Maybe they want a print and a web at a certain pixel. So basically, my thing is if a client wants a print, you give them a TIFF at 16-bit, Adobe RGB. This is good for print. And then it will be outputted into the print folder. And then you have the web JPEG, which is sRGB. This is for web. And then they will have maybe half of whatever the pixel is for web. And then you kind of give it to 85–90% quality. That's for me. My clients want the highest quality because they can insert it into the graphics they already made for the advertising. So what they just need a copy over the image into the layout and see if it works. It's easy for them to see how it would look in real life. And then, of course, after it's done, you want to make sure, you have a client approval, the name and date, when you sent it out, and then what method it is that you gave them. So some of my commercial clients or advertising clients will maybe want a hard drive, or a portable SSD, where I will offload the images into a drive, but just only JPEGs. So therefore, I don't have to upload it to a cloud to give them a link. I've handed over the drive. And, the JPEGs, they just don't use it. They just use it just for layout and to view which ones, from selects. So, and then also I may send a method where the link is Dropbox, and they kind of view it from there as well. So that is my tree. So let's go into the presentation again, and we will go in here. So before I show you my calling workflow in Capture One, I just want you to keep in mind these common mistakes that a lot of photographers make. I've did it too, and I've learned a lot of lessons through it all. So before you call, you want to make sure you have several backups, whether it be to your desktop, an SSD, and your laptop, or maybe your 2 hard drives, one working, one external, or maybe you have one on a hard drive and then you have one on cloud. Always have at least 2 or 3 copies just in case things happen. And things do happen. Things do happen. I've lost a part of a shoot on a rooftop because there was not a backup, and the tether cord was bad, and I lost pretty much half of the shoot of the day. Lost a client, but I got it back. So yeah. And then also we want to be able to fix in post when not fix in post. A lot of photographers, including me, I'll say, hey, I'm just going to fix it in post, right? But you waste a lot of time in that. You need to call to intent, meaning that it's almost there. There's not a lot that you need to retouch other than the model or clothing or a little bit of the landscape if you're shooting outside. So when you cull, also, you don't want to have a star inflation. That means that you cap everything at 50% at 4 stars. And then 5 stars is basically 3 to 5% for 5 stars. So you don't want to be able to give the client, 200 images. You want to have, let's just, for instance, I have 350 pictures. I will cull that down to maybe 50, and then from there call it down to maybe 10. And then also you need variety. The variety is not just moving the model's face inch by inch. We want to be able to show some variety in perspective when we actually cull images. And usually some of my clients also follow up with a shot list, exactly what they want. So therefore, I will star those as well. So here is my culling. So I'm going to bring up Capture One here. So in Capture One, I want to be able to import the images I've shot on my memory card from Lexar. So I'll go ahead and create a new session in Capture One. In there, I might just say, we'll call the company, we'll just call it company. And then we will underscore it. And then we will also have the month. So let's say 2025, 09/12, which is my birthday. And if it is collection, add it. So I may say collection, summer collection, 2026. Okay, I'm shooting ahead of time. You want to be able to also add Capture One folders so you can export the images in the correct folders. And so it'll create these folders in my tree. So I've created it, and I will also show you what it looks like once I upload it to the Sessions tab here. So there, you see the folder, and it also already has the capture folder, the output, selects trash, and the database for your session. So it's already there, made, nothing to do there. It's already done for you. So what you want to do is come into the tab and press import. And then in the import, this is a project that I worked on recently. So let's just say I want to import from another Lexar card. So I will basically find that card. Let me see here. I will find that card. Let's just say I choose a folder or other, choose. And basically, maybe I want to do, pull the images from Lexar SD01 or CF Express. So for this one, I'm going to pull out the images and import the images from this card itself. So I review the import here. So here are all my images. I shot a model on the beach, and so we will go through it, and I'll show you exactly what I see at 4 or 5 stars. I also will show you what doesn't work based on what I'm calling for. And then, of course, if you click right here, it'll show you exactly where the folder is. Again, it is the company, the year, the month, the date, and what the collection is. So that's already there. It's already there processing. So I will go ahead down here and I'll pick all. And then I will import all of them into the session. Okay. So right now it's working on all the images coming in. Let's see here. It'll work on all the images coming in. So sometimes it'll take a few minutes to show. But you can see here are some of the raw images that is calling in. I shot this beautiful model on the beach. And as you can see, I was starting, exposure is not quite right, the balance is not quite right, but then it changes after a certain while. Okay, so now as it's exporting, we want to also come in here and start culling. Okay, so here we're in the culling frame here of Capture One. So sometimes the grid of the photos, if you click here, it's the grid, right? It shows all your pictures. You do not want to cull from this view. You want to be able to go in here from the viewer standpoint so that you can see how sharp the images as they come in to see if you want to cull the images. So let's just say I'm going to go through here. I press up and down. For me, this is workable. I'll do a 3-star on this one. Why it works? Just because it's a clear, good frame here. The exposure is great. It works for me. Then I'll keep going down. I don't like her facial expression on this one. Either that one either. So those are pretty much 0 stars. So I won't click on them to add 1 star. So, you know, nope. And this is like, again, I don't like her body posture nor where she is looking. To me, the best ones are side profiles, face forward toward the camera, or 3/4 to the camera. So to me, this is a good, strong image. So I'll put a 3-star on this one. And we will keep going down. Full landscape, not digging it. Basically, I don't like how the rocks are forming around her, and it just takes away from the model, so that will not be used. Same here, don't like her facial expression, where her face is going, and basically where her hands are landing on her hip. Um, Maybe usable, so I may put a 2 on this one. I may come back and re-edit it, or maybe use it for something else. And we keep going. Usable, so I think this is a strong image based on how sharp she is here. I can see her eyes, pretty sharp, and her texture of her face. So this may be a 3 for me. Don't like her where her eyes are going, so that will not be a usable image for me. Same here. I'm okay with this, but not digging it in order to put a 3-star on it. Okay, we're coming here. So this is great for me. Again, we see how sharp the eyes are in here. I like her posture, her pose. She is a little bit soft around the head, so I still will mark this as 3. Much better. I think this is also a 3. And I usually just skip. If it's the same posture, I may skip it just because there's several of them. Again, her eyes are halfway open, so this is definitely a no. Great posture there. I'll put a 3 in here. And you can see the Macy's bag here is because we had to climb down into the rocks to the beach. So the tides are very high, and it will take your bag and the Macy's bag away if they're in a lower elevation. So that's why we put it on the rocks. So these are not for me here. Not really digging it. I feel this is a great image as well. Again, do I want to take the time to take these Macy's and bag out of the rocks? That should be the question I should ask myself. To me, not worth it. Now, here we are. I feel like this is a great image. This could be a 4-star because the framing is great, the exposure is great, and the model's posture is great. So I think this is amazing. So I put that as a 4. And then, I shoot clouds. So, hey, you never know. I may need to add this as a composite to maybe some of her images that I want to add, some clouds in the background. So I'll take random images of that. So this will be labeled as a 2. Again, just usable images. Again, landscape, I'll put it as a 2 because I may use that maybe on a YouTube video or maybe on social media, or a composite to a photo. So I will keep that as a 2. 2-star means usable or a maybe, and then we have 3 stars as a solid keep, meaning that, hey, these are good enough pictures to be 3-starred. And then 4-star is basically solid client strong images or images that are strong to you. And then 5-star is hero shots. And I'll explain what hero shots mean. But basically, these are the top of the line images for the whole roll. And usually I pick between 5 to 10 images, even at lows 3. I love this as well. Her posture is great. I think this is also a 3. I'm not digging it. I'm not digging the arm, so this is not usable for me. Great posture, just don't like that her arm is hiding behind her back and her hand is just floating there on her hip. Beautiful shot. Posture is great. Her skin is looking amazing. I love the current ties in the background. She's pretty sharp here, so I'll make this a 5-star. Again, this is great. 5-star for me. So in the 5-star, whenever I press 5-star, let's just say this image is my hero shot. This is the top of the line of some of the images I've actually rated. I can go in here and I can mark it as red. So basically, I know if I pick 5 stars or red, I know these images will show up automatically. So these are just some of the things that I look for. I look for exposure. I look for white balance, posture, contrast. I look for sharpness. So these are some of the things that I want to star along with maybe a client shot list. So let's just say maybe the client wants a full landscape, a few images of full landscape, maybe portrait, vertical or horizontal images, or a certain crop, maybe 1x1, which is a square crop. So they will let me know. That will be put it into the admin folder, just to kind of remind me what crops I need to do for the client. So as you can see here. Okay, so now we already have 5-star images. So each one of them, I will go ahead and label it as red because these are my favorite shots here. Great. I love the framing of this. Her leaning on the rock a bit, showing her body. And then also you can see here the sharpness here. And it's face focused. And then here is another one, I 5-star, which is similar, but I think these are very strong images. So I will take these, all the 5 stars here. So either one, you can get it from here or here. And you'll be able to see like what I've shot as a 1-star. Like, I don't think I'm digging that image because of her posture. Maybe these are some images that I can use in my YouTube or on social media, or a composite in some of the images. I picked 7 images that are basically real strong images from here. So you can kind of see here. Very, very strong. And then, of course, you know, my 5 stars, my 1-star, which is a 4-star, and then the 5-star. You'll be able to see all the images, 237 images. One of the things that I definitely mark as a 0 is basically when she was in the water. Yeah, so this is also one of my 5 stars here. Great position, perspective, just everything about it. Even the water hitting her legs are amazing. But then make it to this. So, you know this is not usable at all. So you definitely want to put 1 or don't even mark it at all. So just kind of see like, you know, what works and what not. Okay, so after you've actually selected the images, you know, let's just say, hey, you know, I have the 5 stars. We are done culling. Okay, so now we're back in the main window. Of course, you have all your images here, but you also know that in the rating area, out of 237, I've picked 5 stars, 5 images and 5 stars, and 1 image and 4 stars, and 3 stars and maybe 7 images, right? I usually only export the 4-star and 5-star because those are solid keeps. For me, these are my perspective on the 3-star, what I think is strong, but not be, maybe it's not client strong, right? So I will pick, export maybe the 5 and 4. So let's just export the 5. And then we'll go ahead and export it here. So we'll click on this button in Capture One called Export. In there, we'll have another window that pops up and basically kind of just gives you an export recipe. So let's just say I want to be able to have a TIFF come out, or maybe a PSD. So let's just say, hey, you know, I'm going to export this out to a PSD so I can instantly start retouching. And so you can select the folder where you want the destination. So already here, there is an output folder. This is where I export the images that are selected. And then, you know, already we have an image name, which will automatically be the same name as the folder. And then, of course, the format will be a PSD at 16-bit. And And the difference between 816 is that you have more color to work with when you have a 16-bit. Again, this is great for print. And then you can, click your profile that you have under here. So maybe it's an SGB color space profile, or maybe Adobe RGB, this is what I use for print. And then, of course, what resolution you want it to be. And then basically, is it fixed width, or do you want to change the dimensions, the width and height? It's all there. And then, let's see. Oops. Sorry about that. So basically, let's take this one, and then let's just say I want to export that out. Okay, there we go. And then the PSD, all that good stuff that I just explained to you, and then exports that image out to the output of the session folder. So I'll export that one. You can see right here, exporting. So when I bring up the tree, it will already have all the images that I imported from the SD card here, or the CF Express cards. It will also have the output of whatever image I've chosen to output it in PSD, whether it be 1 or 5 images. And then, of course, once I give those images in the output to a client, they come back, they give me their selections. Let's just say I outputted maybe 10 images. They will give me the selects via email, and then I will place those selects from the output to the selects image. So I know that it's still there. These are what the client selected. From there, I make a copy of that, and I will bring it into the working edits and start my retouching. So this is basically my workflow and what works for me. Again, there's plenty of photographers out there that have different workflows, but this is what I've generated over the last several years, and what makes my life a little bit more easier. So we're going to go ahead and go back to the presentation here. And we'll go here. Again, 2-star, usable, maybe. 3, solid keeps. 4-star, client strong. 5-star are the heroes, and which are the ones I also mark as red. Now, for those who don't understand what hero is, let me show you an example here. Let's just say let me go to Karen Millen website here. And let's just say I go to their website. This is what you call a hero shot. This is usually the main image that leads you into another page on the website. Okay, so maybe they're doing a collection for 2026. They have the 2025 winter, so they have the leather and wool. But this is the image that is formatted for hero. So this leads you into another page where actually will have all the lookbook images in there. So that's when I say hero shots. These are what are really important to advertising and commercial clients. So I just want to kind of put that out there. And also for those who don't understand usage, let's just say in the final delivery, we have a README or a license here. This gives a synopsis of what they've actually signed up for, what they're paying me for. You have media, which is the usage or license. And let's say maybe they want web. They want to use it for web or social. Maybe they want to do an advertising out of home. This is what you call billboards here. Okay. Or this will be in retailers' businesses. Okay, where you walk in and you see advertising either on the window or when you go in, you see them against the wall. Maybe for print, maybe they're using it for their marketing material. Also, maybe a packaging that they would do when they send out to all the potential people who buy their products. And then, of course, you have the POS, which is a point of sale. I'll show you exactly what that means or what that looks like. You also have the territory. Is this for US, North America, or is it worldwide? What is the term, which is 12 months from first use? And then is it exclusive? Some clients will buy out the whole shoot and pay a lot of money for it so that no other people can use the same images. And then, of course, start. What day does the usage start? And the embargo date, which is where it ends. And then, of course, you have the client, which is the copyright of the client, and you as a photographer. So I just kind of want to quickly go over that. And then we get back to the presentation here. And then here is delivery like a brand, deliver like a brand. So for me, these are templates that I use. Here's an example of an email that I give to each client. This is a template for delivery. And I put like a fake name, Lori. Your final images are ready. Download the zip file here. Here is the link. Inside, you'll find the web and print folders, plus a quick license and README. Please note that the link expires on October 10th, whatever, 2025. Let me know if you need alternative crops. Happy to help. Laretta. So all I have to do is come in here for each template, just change the link, change the date, and that's it. You send it off within like 3 minutes. And so this kind of gives you a delivery kit checklist list right here. And this just shows that you're very professional and how your delivery is. No one has to question where's the link. No one has to question, where the web and print folders are, what their license or usage will be. There's also expiration date. So this is very professional in my eyes. So yeah, so that ends the webinar and my workflow. You're able to copy, take what you need, or just steal it. It's up to you. Just want to make everybody's life a little bit more streamlined. Okay, so I guess we're ready for questions and answers.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much, Laura. That was incredible. You are such a treasure trove of knowledge when it comes to commercial and advertising photography. This is a phenomenal session. And I think that everyone can agree. We do have a couple of questions in the chat. At the beginning of the webinar, you mentioned a couple times shooting clean, and a lot of people were asking what it means to shoot clean and how that impacts the rest of your workflow.
So let me bring up, so for clean, I'm able to shoot advertising commercial, but I'm also creative enough in lighting to shoot something creative. But it is something that is marketable that any client can use as long as it's not overly creative, meaning that, we don't have any gels, a lot of gels going on. We don't have extreme shadows or something a little crazy, because to them, advertising commercial, they can't see that. When they see that, they don't see their image on there. So as a photographer, I always kind of just seem to just go on that fine line in between clean and creative. So it usually works.
That's awesome. Thank you. Someone else asked, how do you go about building a team or working with a team to create those test shoots and portfolio, building projects for when you have no budget or no money to pay them for help?
So I usually seek out, so when I first started as a photographer, I first got a makeup artist, and I usually seek them on social media. Maybe I follow someone that has a great makeup artist, or I'll seek a makeup artist within my town that I live in. And just say, hey, I love your work. I'll write them a DM or email them and just say, hey, I love your work. I want to see if you want to work together, create some creative projects to add to our portfolio so we can actually get more clients. And most of the time they say yes. They're like, okay, great. They'll look at your portfolio, see if they want to work with you, and be like, yes, we go ahead and start working. I also do that with stylists, and I do that with hair. Now, in order to get you a sign model agency, we have two different agencies, two different models. We have unassigned and we have signed model agencies. It is when you first start your portfolio, you probably want to start with unsigned agency models that are not signed, but they're really great at modeling. They're good at building your portfolio before you see an agency that is having like signed models. So when you approach them, you already have a portfolio book already done with unsigned models. And then now you're able to promote yourself to other agencies to see if you can get signed models that have a little bit more experience, or maybe they have the look that you want, and you're able to build that portfolio from the agency.
Awesome. Yeah, someone asked kind of like once you start building your portfolio, how you can get your foot in the door and how you can start to come up with pricing for shoots. And I think you already kind of touched base on that. Like, really just pretend like you have a client and, like just
Yeah.
go for it.
Let's just say let's just say your biggest dream is to shoot for Target, right? We know Target is red and white, right? They have the little dog with the, little eye, black eye. And so that is happy. That is relatable. When I say relatable, you can actually go in the store and buy it. It's not where, you have a lot of high fashion images and you don't know where you'll ever get that image. I mean, that styling. You want to shoot just like Target, right? But maybe put a little bit of a different creativity or perspective on it that makes it a little bit more unique than what the photographer is already shooting, right? So that kind of just changes everything. Now, for me, when I price out at a half a day or a full day rate. I don't do hourly because and it works for certain things. Like maybe it works hourly for when you shoot portrait shots, family shots, stuff like that. It may work for me. I feel like you're able to shoot with me for 5 hours at a half day rate. But then if you shoot 10 hours, it'll be the full day rate. So let's just say I shoot a half a day. Let's just say my day rate is 6,000, right? I charge client for 6,000. It's just art creative. That's not including equipment. That's not including talent. That's not including the team. This is just my take home price, right? If you do a half day rate, let's just say I always psychologically don't do it at 3. I will do it maybe at 4, because if you see 4 and 6, you're more likely to choose a full day rate because you'll get the worth of it, the most of it. So psychologically, you want to price your half day rate a little bit more than usual, but almost close to your full rate. But then that will tell them, hey, maybe I should do a full rate to get the best out of all of it, And so that's how much or how I would actually price.
Yeah, that's incredible. Another question is, what's the best approach when it comes to finding an agency as a fashion or commercial photographer?
Go viral. So agencies don't look for you. They have a specific, some of them have specific emails where they never answer those emails. And they have a ton of photographers who are trying to get signed. What you need to do is create great work, whether it be video or stills, and make it go viral. Maybe you choose a concept that, is so creative that you start having all these people look at it on Instagram, and eventually that will get to them and like, oh, this is very creative. We don't have someone on our board like this. Maybe we'll sign them. Also, agencies go off referrals. So let's just say there's another person they know that has talked about a photographer, and maybe they start looking at the photographer and just say, hey, maybe if they've worked with them, I could work with them too, and they put you on the board. But the best thing to do if you seek agencies, you want to be able to look at what's already on the board. Is anybody shooting just like you? Because if they're already shooting just like you will not get picked up. Their board is very selective with different type of photographers shoot different things. So if you find someone that has the same type of aesthetic as you will never get a reply.
Being unique is definitely the challenge. But that's also why we're creatives, right? Like you always want to find
Right.
a way to stand out and express yourself.
Yes.
I think this is going to be the final question. It's kind of a two-parter. Someone asked, what would be the value of marking something one if you know that you're not going to use it over not marking it at all? And someone else asked, what do you do with all the photos you don't use or need?
I still keep them. I don't delete anything, even if I've only did the 3, 4, or 5 stars. I still keep those. I don't know. I just keep my images. I don't delete them. I don't know if there's maybe something I'll go back 5 years from now or 2 years from now. I was like, you know what? I want to retouch this image, for my own personal reasons, not the client's reasons. So I keep those 3 stars. If I mark 1 star or 0 star, I don't really use 1 star at all. If they're not in between 1 or 0, I don't even mark them at all. So, and again, 2 star is just usable where you may be able to composite some images like the landscape or the cloud or, a specific, I don't know, anything specific that you want to use.
Yeah. We did get a couple of more questions trickle in at the end, so we'll do one more. Someone asked, do client requests or needs ever influence or change elements of your workflow?
All the time. I think so. When you shoot for advertising commercial, you are pretty much going off the creative direction from the creative director and art director. They hire you for your professionalism. Maybe I'm good at posing and they need a photographer who will help them pose their models correctly without frustrating them. Maybe they want to elevate their photography a little bit more. And at the end, after I've shot their shot list, maybe at the end, they're like, hey, Laretta, you have creative freedom. Shoot for about good 30 minutes, whatever you want to shoot. And most likely they will take one of those 2 images and add it into their shot list. So it just depends.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for your insights, Laretta. We do have some questions that didn't get answered in this session. We're going to have this workshop available in a live replay format, and we'll also share a blog on the Lexar website with some answers to the questions that weren't answered in this format. So please do stay tuned. Follow us on Lexar for updates on when this will be available, as well as the blog. Follow Laretta, keep in touch with her and see all of her beautiful work. And also follow Polly and Black Women Photographers. Support the community that is able to uplift the photo community, especially Black female creatives. Anything else from you, Polly or Laretta?
No, I'm here to help. So I will be checking on questions under the YouTube video, and I will try to answer every one of them. And yeah, I will be there for any questions you have. Thank you.
Awesome. Anything else from you, Polly?
No, thank you, Laretta. That was incredible, just amazing. And I really hope people do take you up on your offer on help. This is a person with a wealth of knowledge. And when people say they can help and they can reach out, please actually do reach out, because 9 times out of 10, most people don't because they're scared or whatever. No, just reach out and use, this kind offer from Laretta to, advance your work and your growth. So thank you so much, Laretta and the Lexar team, for making this possible.
And just a little thing is that when I started photography in 2016, I didn't have anybody. I didn't have a mentor when I started. Mm-hmm. And the one person I did only lasted a few months. Just because I elevated that fast in photography. So there was not a wealth of knowledge out there. I mean, we just started the internet around that time. So that's how old I am. We didn't have the vast internet with a lot of information. So a lot of stuff was gatekeeping back then. But there's so many people out here who just really want to learn, and why not share it? You know what I'm saying? I didn't have that when I actually started as a photographer. So I feel that the need for me is to basically answer some of those questions when I have time. And just show you how easy it is to get to a certain level that you want to. So that's it. That's all I have.
Amazing. Thank you, Laretta. Thank you so much for being a resource. Thank you all so much for joining. And again, stay tuned for all of this when it's ready for replay. Have a good rest of your
Yay.
day.
Bye.
Bye.